Rides and Drives Team Radio. I am Kaz. I'm here with Harvey, and today we're not in separate locations. We are in my in-laws' parents' bar in Plymouth, Wisconsin, right by Elkhart Lake, which is where we spent the day at the track at Road America.
Yes, and this isn't just any bar, it's a basement bar, which, if you know anything about Wisconsin, is just ingrained in the culture here. So we figured while we're down here in the basement bar, we'd make a Wisconsin old fashioned. Don't confuse this with the old fashions you find in some other markets. This is a brandy old fashioned, and it's made with a little bit of fruit. We're going to start with a little bit of cherries in here, add a couple of orange slices that we have.
Me two each, please.
Two in each glass?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you grab your simple syrup.
Sugar cube will work as well if you don't have one. It's just a little squirt.
And then we do a couple dashes of bitters, a couple more, one more.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I'm not shy on the bitters.
No,
that's fine
I
for
like
me.
the bitters.
The great thing about a Wisconsin old fashioned is that it really is what you have in your house and what you feel like working with on any given day.
Now, the big difference between a Wisconsin old fashioned and a lot of others is brandy. We're in Wisconsin, so typically you'll find Corbel brandy in the basement bar.
The Wisconsin, the joke we make, and I don't know if this is true, but the joke we make is that Wisconsin sells more brandy than all of the rest of the 50 states combined. And knowing how we drink these old fashions, I believe it. So
that's true. So let's go ahead. We'll not be too shy with the brandy in these. We'll just do a shot and a half. Then it's a little bit of ice in each glass.
So, and I know you're thinking this sounds pretty close to the classic cocktail. We're about to deviate.
We are. Because what you do is once you get your ice in your glass, let's see. Couple more in each. There we go. You take out the squirt. This is for brandy old fashioned sour, is how you would order this at the bar. And you just pour a little bit of this squirt over top of your brandy, kind of top off the glass there.
We call it a floater.
A floater. There you go. And here's another one. Perfect.
And you cannot miss your garnishes. There are a whole lot of options for old fashions, but we've always been an orange and cherry house. And I like to make little toothpickies. And then finally, to be extra fancy, I like a wheel on the rim.
How to do the wheel on the rim. So here is the Wisconsin brandy old fashioned sour. That's right. And to the weekend at Road America.
Yeah, cheers to you guys and cheers to Road America. A truly exceptional place to spend the day. I don't think I could have had a better time. I can find anything to complain about. I have no notes on the day today.
No, we did have a great day. We've put up a few videos on the social. We'll be doing a bunch more tomorrow where we go in and explain the different corners of the track and where you want to view from. So take a look for those. But for this podcast, we're going to talk about qualifying and what we saw at the track today. We did have an opportunity to talk to a few drivers as well, both before and after qualifying. So we can talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think, one of the big stories of the day for me, I think tires are potentially going to come into play in a big way in the race tomorrow.
Yeah, Firestone announced that they had put a softer compound in for the alternate tire for this weekend. So you're going to have a tire that's probably not going to last as long for that alternate. And also it was pretty interesting. A lot of the drivers were talking about inconsistencies in the alternate tire. They put on one set, it'd be great. Put on another set, it didn't seem to work right. Now that may have had, something to do with different ways they dialed in the aero, or maybe how they biased the brakes, or how much fuel load they had in, who knows. But Pato especially was talking about how hard it was to find the right balance in his car from set to set of tires. And it kind of showed in his performance.
Yeah, Pato didn't come out of qualifying today seeming like a happy guy. I think that he knows that starting 10th is not terrible here. There
Right.
are a lot of passing opportunities at Road America, but he clearly doesn't feel like he has it there with the car.
Yeah, and this is a track where if you have a car, you can move up. A lot of high-speed paces. It was funny. I asked David where he thought the good passing opportunities were, and he said, "Pick a straight."
Yeah, he said, "Pick your straight. There are plenty."
Yeah, so we're going to look for passing going into turn 1, going into turn 5, and going into Canada Corner for sure. He said you could also look at turn 8, which is at the end of Hurry Downs. That's a nice place for passing as well. And you'll probably see some passing coming out of turn 14, going up the front straight. If somebody gets a really good exit out of that front straight is so long, there's opportunities there.
Or if you wind up with a bad exit out of turn 14 as well, you have just left yourself exposed to all of the cars behind you.
Yeah, very much so.
There's a lot of opportunity to pick up speed on the front straight, but there's just as much opportunity to lose it. Picking up speed.
Yeah.
Once again, Alex Palou tops the times.
Yeah, that's not a surprise in terms of where people ended up in qualifying. I think if there was a surprise, maybe a minor surprise to me was seeing Malukas on the starting outside of Alex on row 1. The Meyer Shank cars were really strong, and I kind of expected Rosenquist and Armstrong up there, but they both are. They're going to start 3rd and 4th, so in the second row. But I think David's performance was phenomenal for a guy who was really hired to be an oval course specialist. His growth has been incredible.
Yeah, this is a broader conversation than just Road America. David Malukas has stepped into the Penske car, and I think we all had good expectations for the kid. Everybody knew he was talented. Everybody knew he had the potential to perform. But if you had told me going into the season, David Malukas halfway through the season is going to be the lead Penske driver by quite a margin, and he will be 3rd in the championship, I probably would have slapped you in the face.
Yeah, that was a pretty big difference in sort of the expectations going in. And it was funny, we were talking to people in the media room today, and one of the journalists was saying, people were asking him if they thought Malukas was underperforming this season. It's like, are you insane?
We were all just blown away that was even a question.
This is a guy who came in to be the number 3 driver at Penske. Clearly, maybe add some more potential in the ovals, but especially the short ovals. But and he has been good everywhere for them right from the start of the season. I think he's only had one really bad result all year.
Yeah, there are no circuits on the entire calendar wherein I'm counting him out, where I'm thinking, oh, this isn't really a place where David should do well. Right. Anytime he winds up on the front row after qualifying, I am not surprised. Anytime he winds up on the podium at the end of a race, I'm not surprised. Yeah. And he is only 24. Somebody asked Alex Palou after qualifying about David's growth and what he's been seeing from him. And Alex it was very cheeky. He said,
let's cut that video in here.
Oh yeah.
I pull that. Let's put that in right now. So take a look at this video and see Alex's response to the question about David's growth this year.
Very good. I mean, hopefully he doesn't get much faster or much better. I mean, it would be cool for me if he just stays like this, would be great. We can be very good friends. Otherwise, maybe not. No, I mean, it's very tough. Like, people think that it's only about you jump in a car and that's it. I think you jump in a fast car and it makes your life a lot easier. But there's 2 other teammates for him and 2 other teammates for me as well that have the same car. So it's very tough. Like, you need to build your team. You need to feel confident with yourself. And it's always hard work to execute every single weekend. So yeah, happy for him. But again, if he stays here, it would be good. Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing about this is, like I said, David is 24 years old. David is going to get faster. Yeah. It would be so unlikely for him to peak while he's not. I mean, he's clearly an incredibly talented guy. Possibly, you don't want to say things like generational talent yet, no. Obviously, but he certainly has a special thing about him, the way he drives. And I could see him becoming somebody who has an Alex-like season at some point.
Yeah, the thing I am impressed by David with is his maturity
Yeah.
and approach. It was really funny. I remember I interviewed him on the grid right before the St. Pete race, and I posted it, and someone said, "Man, he just sounds like a frat boy." And maybe he sounds like a frat boy, but his approach to racing is so studied, so measured. He's so serious about his craft. And maybe you check, check that to his wrist injury where he almost lost his career. And
Sure.
he's like, I got a second chance. I'm going to make the most of it. I don't know if that's it, but it really comes through when you talk to him, and his genuine passion for racing and his drive to get better and better every week.
Yeah, do not let this guy's cadence and demeanor distract you or deceive you, because while he comes off as very casual, very cool, just having a good time, David Malukas is putting in the work. He talks about all the video that he watches. I think that, oh man, I'm just really excited to see him continue to improve. I'm excited for Penske to have signed a young driver like that. We know for the next 10 seasons, we can be watching David Malukas win races for Penske. That's so great. I love when a top team signs a new driver who might be a legacy driver for them. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah. Is he going to be the next willpower for that?
Yeah,
team, right?
exactly. He very well could be. And then you mentioned the Meyer-Shank drivers.
Right.
I'm not surprised after practices to see both of them there. They were both there in practice. Both looked excellent. But I'm really excited for Marcus Armstrong.
Yeah. We talked to him yesterday after practice, and he's sick. He has a bad cold.
You might have had it going around over the last couple of weeks. I know we both have at various times.
You could see his energy level in the interview felt very low, but he's focused when he's in that car, and this is a great track for him. He talked about how it reminded him very much of Spa, a track that he's comfortable with. So watching, the European guys, especially at this track, is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Which is also why I'm really disappointed by one driver. We really thought this was going to be the opportunity for Mick Schumacher to step up and prove him, say, look, if there's a track on the calendar that's a European style track, it's Road America. And it should favor his experience and his style. And yet, there he is down in 23rd place. So
yeah,
that's kind of frustrating. You can't, maybe there's something to do with the car because none of the RLL cars performed well here. So maybe they just missed something.
But Mick looked good in practice.
Right.
And wasn't able to pull it together for qualifying. And maybe they made a last minute setup change that they shouldn't have made. Maybe it was the inconsistencies in the tires that some other drivers have been reporting.
Yeah.
Regardless, it is time for him. He does need to take every opportunity that he can in his rookie season while he's still adjusting to highlight the things that he does do well.
Right.
And this track should theoretically be one of those things. So to see him not highlighting that ability here is a worrisome thing for him and his future in the sport.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, when we're talking rookies, Kyle Collette, man.
Yes.
Well.
Yeah, really solid performance today in qualifying. To have that AJ Foyt car up there in 9th place, and Santino.
Excellent day for AJ Foyt all around.
Yeah, up in 7th place. Those are great starting positions for those two in those cars.
Although Santino will be starting.
Oh, that's right. He's going to move back because of Chevy engine
excellent
issues.
Qualifying result. Yeah. Both of them. We know Santino likes it here a whole lot, and clearly we know Kyle likes it here a lot from Indy Next as well. Yeah. So this is a good track for both of them.
That's right. He did win here last year in Indy Next, and we talked to him on the grid before qualifying and asked him, what he liked about it, and
he said everything.
Yeah.
He said everything. He loves racing here, and who wouldn't? We've beaten it to death. It's just a racer's track. Yeah. Everyone loves it here. But I do want to say, we started qualifying. We started practice at turn 1.
Right.
Saw the cars coming around, watched through the warm-up lap, and then as they were kind of flying on a faster lap, I watched 18 or so cars go by.
Right.
No one hit the apex at turn 1 better than Kyle Collette.
Yeah, and you could see it too in qualifying when he was finding his turn-in point, he was just inching closer and closer and closer to the edge of the track. At one point, he had his rear wheel almost all the way off the track, and it kind of created a little moment for him. So he's really testing the limits of this track, and it's going to be fun to see if that qualifying translates into racecraft tomorrow, and if he can move up at all in the qualifying, and finish higher than he qualified.
Kaio has had a couple of almost great races, and a lot of times the mistakes have been his own that take him out of the race at the end. So it's not like I feel bad for this kid because he keeps getting this bad luck situation, but the fact that he keeps putting together these really great near performances tells me that he is working hard and giving it everything he can.
Yep.
And the rookie mistakes are coming through when he's maybe pushing a little too hard, pushing beyond where he should. That's what testing these limits today is going to teach him. That's what it's going to help him with. So I could very easily see Kaio with a top 10 finish tomorrow.
Yeah. I think another team that we look at and say not so great a day is McLaren.
Yeah.
Again, this should be a great track for Christian Lundgaard. This should be a great track for Pato Award.
Something's just going weird when Nolan Siegel is the highest qualifying McLaren driver. I'm sorry, Nolan, but it is.
Yeah, exactly. And to have him at 8th, that's, we expect to see Pato in 5th. Right?
Pato should be in 5th. This
right?
season, that's the story.
That's kind of where he's averaging out. So where are they on this track, which, again, should be a decent track for these guys who know how to drive road courses. It's not that the Chevy is down on power here because,
the top 12 was 6 Chevys, 6 Hondas.
Right. And Malukas finished, just 3/10 behind Alex. So it's not the power. And maybe they couldn't get the setup right or whatever. But then again, they had the test day here. They came up and they tested. And Pato said, yeah, we were great on test day and had nothing here. I think, for Andretti, the same thing. I mean, Kyle Kirkwood said, we were so fast on test day and now I can't seem to figure out how to get things right here. Yeah. So that was interesting to see that. But then again, Marcus Ericsson, qualifies 5th. So, and
Will Power had an excellent run in his first qualifying session. Didn't look as speedy in the Fast 12. I'm very happy he made the Fast 12. I'm sure that Roman would have had a pretty angry Australian knocking on his trailer if Will had missed out on the Fast 12.
I am surprised that Roman was not issued a penalty for coming out of the pit lane and moving over to the left-hand side of the track, almost right into Power, forcing him wide. He could have really, you're going 180 miles an hour at that point, getting ready to break into turn 1, and that could have been really dangerous and pushed him into that runoff area.
I like rules where there's room for interpretation a lot, but this one there isn't. Don't cross the white line. And he did.
Yeah.
Even if Will wasn't there.
I mean, it's a dotted white line. It's not a hard not cross, but at the same time, you're coming out. You've got a car coming down. He's there. Why don't you stay to the right and just let him go through? So I'm sure people are gonna ask that question, and when they see Roman. Certainly, if we get a chance to, we will.
Absolutely. And one more thing I do want to talk about. There was a small but excellent piece of broadcasting today. And it was as the Fast 12 was ending, the very last driver putting in a lap on the Fast 12 was Santino Ferrucci. He was very much chasing the Fast 6. He was right on the line. And Fox ran the McLaughlin Ghost car from Santino's onboard perspective.
Yeah, they broadcast this in the media room so we can watch it. And actually, the broadcast booth is right in front of us, so we get to see Buxton.
Get to chat it up with the dudes, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah, we can talk about the taco crack dip.
Yeah, guys, Will Buxton loves grocery store taco dip.
Yeah.
He had never had it before. He was blown away, called it taco crack, and now so do I. So thank you, Will. But this little bit of broadcasting was really well done. Kudos to Fox on that. I really hope they do more of that interesting ghost car work so that you can really see where cars are running in relation to the cars that matter I also love the sectors. That's so helpful for gauging qualifying,
Especially on a track this long. Having sectors and knowing who's fast where, that's really important. So if you didn't see it, they were using the alternate start finish line today. That's just before turn 14. So that they could stop, after that lap and go right into the pits. Otherwise,
you have to run a full
you have to run
lap.
4 laps to come into the pits again. So using that alternate start finish line was really good. And so that first sector was from that point around to halfway down almost into turn 5 is sector 1. Sector 2 is from turn 5 all the way through the kink, correct? Yes. And
After the kink.
Just past the kink. And then sector 3 was from the kink through Canada Corner up Thunder Alley and back to the start finish line. And by being able to see where people were in those sectors, it really helps understand where they are from a qualifying pace. And it also will say something about where their best opportunities in the race are going to be as well.
Yeah, certainly. If we see that somebody is faster in sector 1, which includes 2 of the big straights that we're talking about, that's relevant.
Yeah, because they do, some people are going to lay the downforce off so that they can have a faster car on the straights. And I think actually that's what I think that was a little bit about what Santino talked about is they were really quick on the straights, but he didn't have quite the downforce. So coming out of Canada Corner, he couldn't put the power down quite as hard as McLaughlin did. And McLaughlin was able to just squeak out past the start finish line.
Gosh, I just love that ghost car. It really shows you how close it was. And Santino missed out on the Fast Six by just the tiniest bit. And I also want to note for anybody watching who watch qualifiers casually, Scott McLaughlin did not ever put on really competitive tires in the Fast Six, and that's why we saw him where he was. He chose to save that set of tires for the race.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting bit of strategy because, first of all, they're only required tomorrow to run 1 set of primary and 1 set of alternate. So they can choose because there'll be 2 pit stops.
There will be, yeah. Teams will be running 3 sets of tires. So can't make it through with just 1 pit stop.
So they can choose whether or not they want to run 2 sets of primaries or 2 sets of alternates. The alternates are quicker, but they definitely will fall off faster. Firestone talked about that. They put a softer compound on this, so you'll have more tire wear on that. I'd look for Alex to run primary, and then maybe go to alternate at the end, or go primary, alternate, primary.
I think he'll go prime. Alex likes ending the race on the primes. But I also think, drivers like Pato, who talked about the inconsistencies in the alternate tire, you don't often see Pato favor the primary tire when he has the option. But I think we might see a couple of drivers choosing to run 2 sets of primaries because of the confusion about the alternate. Now, we never really know until we wake up race morning and they run on that day, because day to day things change so much. So it's entirely possible we wake up tomorrow morning, everybody goes out for warm-ups, and hey guys, it's a red race, no problem.
Yeah, we'll find that out. The other thing, that there is a chance of rain tomorrow. They're saying now it may come later in the afternoon, so it may be after the race. But if we get a shower and 10 laps of wet, now we got to throw the wet tires in there, and that changes the whole dynamic as well.
Right at the end. And again, you guys, this cannot be stressed enough. This is a 4-mile lap. So if you miss the right window to put on those wet tires, you are going to bleed time in a way that you won't on any other track you can imagine.
Yeah, think about most road courses are 1.5 miles to 2 miles, right? And so all of a sudden you've got 1 minute and 45 seconds. Well, at race pace, they're going to be 1:50, right? Running these laps. And if you're wrong for 2 minutes, you're losing 4, 5, 6, 10 seconds on a lap. So
you're going to drop like a stone.
Getting that right is going to be critical. It was funny. We asked Pato about potential for a wet race, and he said it's just going to make it interesting.
Yeah, Pato did not want to talk about the rain strategy. I think Pato is focused on race strategy first and foremost, and getting those tires in a place where he's comfortable with them.
Yeah, and I think race strategy is going to be critical here again. So, that's why it's really hard to look at anyone but Alex right now, in terms of winning this race. This is his first pole here, but he has won here 3 times. If he adds a fourth, he becomes the winningest IndyCar driver at Road America,
It's amazing.
passing Andretti, passing, other great names in this series.
You know what, though? Alex doesn't convert from pole as often
No.
as you would think he would. So whenever Alex wins pole, I get a slew of messages from friends who are like, all right, so should I even watch the race? And I say yes more.
Well, yeah.
Because first of all, there's good action up and down the grid regardless of if Alex wins. Second of all, Alex very rarely wins by taking the lead right away and holding it all race. Something will happen.
I think we talked about this. He's won this race 3 times. He's only led 24 laps here in all the races he's raced here.
Crazy.
So don't look for Alex to run out front and lead a ton of laps here. Look for their strategy. I mean, he may, but I wouldn't be surprised if their strategy is just to, run the primaries, let some people run away at the beginning of the race, reel them back in as they get down toward the end.
Yeah, I think we're going to see some long stints from Alex Palou, which with Race Control's new clarified policy about how they utilize yellow flags and local yellows, Alex could be exposing himself to danger there. That's fun to
and this
think
is
about.
This is a course where if you get a full course yellow and you're wrong, again, with the length of the track, it's really going to hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see how that goes. Race tomorrow. What do we think?
Well, I think it's time to play our game.
Okay.
Make some predictions.
Let's make some predictions. I get to go first this week?
You do choose first this week. So, Harvey, let's start with the podium.
Okay.
Who do you think is going to wind up on the third step of that podium tomorrow?
Third step of the podium tomorrow will be Scotty Mack.
Oh, fun. I like that. I'm going to do something fun.
Yeah.
It's Kyle Collette. Look, is that going to happen? Probably not. But I do love picking it. He's looked so good over the last couple of months and just making those last minute rookie mistakes. I love talking to him today and I just want it for him. So I do realistically think he has a good shot in top 5.
Yeah.
Podium is maybe a big ask, but we'll see.
We'll see. Okay. Second step of the podium.
Who you have?
David Malukas. He's
start second, stay second.
Start
stay
second, stay second. He's going to have a great race. He's consistent. He's smart. That's where he's going to end up.
Yeah, I think that's a really solid pick. I'm going to take Alex Palou because I'm pretty sure you're going to pick him to win.
Yes, and I am picking Alex Palou to win because until somebody beats him here, you can't pick against him.
It's going to be him. And for my winner, I do want to pick Little Dave, but I'm not going to. I think because every time I pick him, he has a terrible week. And I'd love for him to get his first win. So I'm going to choose another feel-good story and go with Marcus Armstrong, who I think has every possible chance to win this race. He's powering through an illness, doing really, really well. The car looks great. And again, this is a driver who's talked a lot about wanting those big moments. He was asked at the press conference after practice, how would you grade your season? And he said he would give himself a C. He was then asked what you would need to do to take it to an A. And he threw out a lot of goofy, but for me, if he wins a race,
his season goes to an A.
His season goes to an A.
Sure.
He's been very consistent and strong and looked like he could possibly win in a lot of places, and it hasn't come together. If you can pull that win together here, this is an A season for you, Marcus Armstrong, especially from a very good but a mid-tier team.
Right. So, biggest mover on this track?
Who do you have?
I'm going to take Rinus VeeKay.
No, that was going to be mine. I thought I was so sneaky. Rinus is starting down at 22nd. And I think he's a better driver than that. Yeah,
I think he's a better driver. I don't know what happened with the setup of the car today. But clearly, they didn't have what they wanted. So I see him as someone who could certainly move up on this track. He's really good on the road courses. And as long as he keeps his nose clean, I see him easily making at least 10 places.
I think that's a great choice. I'm going to take something that's a little riskier just because we're still working with lingering injuries, but Alex Rossi makes really smart choices, and this is a track that rewards positive strategy and thoughtfulness. And if there's a guy who's not named Alex Palou on the grid who I trust to make good strategy calls, it's Alex Rossi. Many, many times he's made choices that have seemed a little like, oh, what are you doing? And then, I know what you're doing. Good job, sir.
Yeah.
So I might expect to see something like that out of him on a track like this.
Well, that would
starting
be
21st.
That would be great because it's really been a tough stretch for the folks
At ECR.
at ECR, and
Yep.
and to have them have a good result at this race would be really good.
Yeah.
All right, so now we go to biggest bust.
Biggest bust. Who do you have, Harv?
Well, I'm taking Nolan Siegel. I think he qualified out of position. I think McLaren doesn't have it figured out yet.
Yeah.
And let's see. I mean, he's starting 8th. Well, he'll start 7th
because Santino's
penalty.
Great job.
I'm gonna go there.
If Nolan were starting 8th with the other 2 McLarens around him, Nolan has been making improvement.
Right.
He's been given that kind of loose demand that you must finish in the top 10 in the championship to keep your seat. I don't know how strict they're going to be about that, because at this point it would be fairly mathematically impossible for him to get there without winning multiple races, which I don't think any of us think he's going to. But he has been showing strong improvement.
Yeah.
He's been looking more put together, like he has things figured out. But if the rest of the McLaren drivers can't get up there with him, it would be unlikely for him to be the one of the 3 McLaren drivers who can battle a car that's not set up right.
Right.
I would expect that from Pato or Christian far before I would expect it from him. If the car's not there, Nolan is definitely out of position.
Sure.
All right. So for me, for biggest bust, I'm going to choose Marcus Ericsson.
Oh.
I don't know why.
Okay. Just because he's up there in the top 6?
He's up there in the top 6 and I don't have him on my podium.
Yeah. And potential to fall.
Yeah.
You know who none of us have talked about is Felix Rosenqvist. And
we've talked about him a lot in May.
Yeah. Today, I mean, he had a solid qualifying.
He looked great
not
today.
Up on either of our podiums. He's a guy I'd look out for tomorrow as well.
The fact that he's not on either of our podiums means nothing. Felix Rosenqvist could very, very easily be there. I wouldn't be surprised by it. He could win. He has won this race. He could do it again. All right, now it's time for your plot twist.
This is an interesting
We've been
one.
having such a bad time with these plot twists.
We have, but because you're always, taking a risk with this. This is what's a crazy thing that could happen in the race. And while 2/3 of this plot twist, I think, are very likely to happen, the 1/3 would be an awesome thing to have happen. So I'm going to say 3 Penske's in the top 10.
That's fine.
I'm going to see Joseph Newgarden just being patient, working through his injury and his surgery, and learning to drive and brake with his left foot the way he is. So
I would
through the race. So I'm going to say 3 Penske's in the top 10, and I'm going to go 2 points.
I would say that that's not very likely, but I also would have said it's not very likely that he would perform well at Detroit and win at Gateway with the injuries he has. I think it's worse for this race in that now he is post-surgery and he's braking on the opposite foot from what he's used to. Muscle memory is a really important thing when you're racing, and that's something that he can't rely on. But he's also proven himself to be a guy who can adjust quickly. And he, I don't know. I mean, everybody wants to win, but he really wants to win.
And he wants to score good points here. I mean, the reason he's driving is because he's driving for championship points.
He's 6th in the championship currently. He has 2 race wins. Yeah, Joseph recognizes and has the maturity to recognize that patience will be rewarded. If you put in a top 10 performance here, is that going to rocket you up to 1st in the championship? No, but
it'll keep you from dropping to 15.
It'll keep you from dropping like a stone, and that's important to him. All right, for my plot twist, I'm going to be really obnoxious and contradict my podium.
Okay.
So I'm kind of hedging bets here. I'm going to say it's an all Honda podium.
Wow. Okay.
I'm going to say it's an all Honda podium for my plot twist.
That's
It's entirely possible.
It's entirely possible.
If it's Palou, Armstrong, Rosenqvist, there it is.
Yeah,
So-
our friends at Chevy won't be happy about that.
No, I'm sorry, guys.
Steve, sorry about that.
I like you all so much. The communication's great. You guys are wonderful. But I'm going to go all Honda podium. And Harvey, I realize we didn't ask you to gamble points.
I said 2 points.
You said 2 points. All right. I will also go 2.
Okay.
All Honda podium, 2 points.
Well, we're going to have to see how it plays out tomorrow when they kick things off at Road America. Race time is what, 1:20?
1:20 Central. So 2:20 Eastern. It's hard for me to adjust to Central Time.
Yeah. So make sure to tune in on Fox or come to Road America if you're in the area. A ticket will cost you $90. It is the best fan race day experience you will ever have. You know, great food, really good viewing areas around the track, the nicest people you'll ever be at a race with, even if you've never met them before, because that's Wisconsin.
Everyone says excuse me and offers you a Miller Lite. Amazing.
And the drivers love this place, and it shows in the way they perform. So for Rides and Drives Team Radio, I'm Harvey.
And I'm Kath.
And we are out for the day.
We're not driving anymore, but you drive safe.